Happy Sunday, everyone. We are here for the energy forecast at the top of this week. And first, a quick shout out to all the protesters who did a fantastic job on Saturday. That was really inspiring to see and really helps with the inspiration on the resistance of this movement so we can keep things going. And a couple of announcements. Today, Sunday, April the 6th, 2025, I am doing the free live stream event on YouTube covering the pendulum checks, the channels, the Talking with Spirit team about the state of the nation, the E of I, Biden, Harris, all of it, timelines, timeline jumps, what's going on for us through the summer. I've taken a look at the whole thing now and broken it down, and I have all of that for you. I have at least like 8 pages, if not more, and I'm just going to go until I'm all petered out on this. Today's the day, and if you cannot make the live stream, I will have this available after for a small fee, either on Monday or on Tuesday, so keep your eyes out for that. Number 2, I heard from Lucy's new adopted home, and I just want to let all of you know Lucy is doing extremely well. She's been renamed to Moxie, which I think is a fantastic name. It really fits with her. It's working for her. And as you can see in this photo, she is a happy puppy dog. She went to the right home. You are here for the forecast at the top of this week, so let me swing the camera around and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and start from where we are at. I am recording this on Saturday, releasing it on Sunday, and as you notice, as we head into this week, right now, as I'm recording it and releasing this video, we literally are in this whole peak, this whole trough of an incredible movement of all kinds of astrology right now. Basically, through this time span, we've got 3 power moves going on right here. The Mars sextile Uranus, the Saturn sextile Uranus, and the Mars trining Saturn. This is all very powerful energy that is driving the engine forward. Then the other thing you need to know is that Mercury continues backing up, doing its retrograde. Venus continues backing up, doing its retrograde until it parks over Saturn. And so basically through this whole thing, we've got this quasi Venus retrograding, Mercury retrograding, beginning to park over Saturn, do their turnarounds, and then Mercury goes direct on Monday and Venus goes direct on Saturday. So a lot of high drama and a lot of energy going on with all of this. So that's the first thing you need to know. The next thing you need to know is look at this. Our timeline jumps have gone down to nearly nothing. Only 1 day of a timeline jump this coming week. This is significant because up to March 1st, so since about the hurricanes last fall, all the way up to March 1st, we were having sometimes 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, 6-day, 7-day runs of timeline jumps and energy gateways. We were doing a mass pitch forward with our consciousness and a bell-shaped curve that was basically going straight up, and we were doing massive shifting. Then as of March 1st, we hit that new timeline on the secondary timeline channel. Remember, the foundational timeline in January that we hit, that's already in place. The secondary timeline came into place March 1st. And then once that happened, all the timeline energy just went, the energy just went out of it. And the channel that Spirit Team gave to me in the timeline discoveries thing that I shared with you guys, we are basically just keeping time in place. We're basically integrating. And what I'll be talking about in the live event is like what happens this summer through that integration period for us personally as well as nationally. It is just really fascinating. So you just need to know that right now we're doing a lot of powerful astrology. Timeline's energy jumps have dropped down to a near pittance. I expect them to pick up mid-August at the end of this summer, mid to late summer. And the other thing that I want you to see is we've been having a lot more solar activity and Schumann's activity. Look at even the previous week. Let me show this to you. Yeah, so here's the previous week. lot of solar activity, some Schumann's, and then this past week that we went through, we still had activity going on. So it's really interesting how things fluctuate and work in tandem with one another. So then that's about some of the dynamics. I will come back to the meanings, but Spirit Team wants me to talk about, I asked Spirit Team this week of April the 7th that is coming up, what is our theme this week? And yeah, a little bit messy, sorry about that. And what came through was a twisted rock. And I was like, what's that about? And then I asked them, I'm like, well, give me another one. And then they said, this is the silver lining strong this week. So I think what I can tell you is that there is so much power energy going on and shifting going on. It has the power to twist a rock. I mean, that's my interpretation. You could come up with your own interpretation, but you look at Saturn and Uranus and Mars. I mean, this is power moves anchored into the Earth. And you've got a lot of Saturn going on with the North Node, like this is moving things. And the other thing, this whole thing about silver lining strong, I think this is spirit world saying, no matter how hinky it gets or how sideways it gets, there's going to be a silver lining in everything that we're dealing with. And they want us to keep our eye on that. So we're going to be changing a twisted rock. I mean, to me, that's really doing a lot of change at the deep, earthy root that we're all working with right now. And we need to keep our eyes out on silver linings happening. And I don't think that necessarily means toxic positivity. I think that means when stuff is happening, we can look at it through a filter of like, there's going to be some good that comes out of this. There is going to be some good that comes out of this. So from here, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. And for those of you who are new to my work, just so you know, a couple of years ago, I created the first Somatic Money Oracle deck. This is body-based money relationship. It's the full Monty on all of my work, and this is the first edition. And so there's some editing glitches on it, and I've got this for sale at $59 on my website, www.somaticmoney.com. And then I also created my second edition deck. This deck is basically this deck, but it is polished and edited, and it is all up to snuff. And so if you want to dive into the Somatic Money work, the card deck is going to be a great way to go ahead and begin that. And so for this week, I pulled these 3 cards, fascinating cards. And I think this gives us another heads up on the type of week we're headed into. So this thing about a twisted rock and all this deeper earthy movement energy going on, I think this card right here, diminished returns or hard work, I think this card right here is basically saying heads up. Don't lean into the survivalism of overworking yourself, running yourself into the ground just to try and get it to work, because the more you do that, you're going to land in that diminished returns place. This is our heads up to make sure you sit back, take stock, and make sure that the work you are doing is leverage, that the work you are doing, that it does count. And here's a couple of ways that you can then begin to look at breaking that pattern if you're having a hard time with it. This week is going to be a great week to dig into your family financial tree. Look at the genealogy, the financial genealogy in your family, as far as who might have fallen into the diminished returns hard work to get their money to work. Take a look at that and see what kind of relationship that you might have going on as well, and catch yourself. See if you can catch yourself. And the other thing, and this is advanced, I'll just say this is advanced. So the other thing that you can pay attention to here to help begin to solve this is something that I call financial soul retrieval. This would be the nth degree of a presence practice of getting really present in your body at the root. And look at, we're doing root earthwork here. So getting really present at the root in your body with your money, and call yourself back home again. And that is what I would consider a financial soul retrieval. This kind of thing can turn diminished returns on its head. I have seen it happen overnight. And the way to get there is through digging up that story, that money story in your familial lineage, to learn about what's going on in your family financial tree. You're looking at this stuff, nobody talked about, and digging that up and taking a look at that and going, how might that be affecting me today? So these cards also give us a clue overall energetically how to look at going through this week. So I think there's something to be said here for let the energy work for you. Do not let it push you into overdrive of working too hard. I think that might be a good heads up. Let me say that again. Let the energy do the work for you. Do not necessarily let it push you into overdrive and you be working in overdrive. Like, see if you can switch that, change that up a little bit. Now, there's a lot of layers, a lot of meaning going on here, and there's no way that I can get into all of it, but I just want to parse some of it out. First, I talked a lot about it this week. These layers, the Mars sextiling Uranus, Saturn sextiling Uranus, and then the Mars trining Saturn. This is power move stuff that is somewhat continuing into this week, so you need to pay attention to it. Then notice here we've got a bit of a zinger. Chiron, wounded healer, is conjuncting up with the sun, who is in Aries, and so this is all going to be taking a look at, like, how are you with self and your wounded self? You need to be taking a look at that. Then the other patterning that I want you to take note of is, like, look at how much Mars is in the picture here. Look at how much North Node is in the picture. Folks, that's your future soul self sitting in Pisces, the last of it sitting in Pisces for right now. So that's giving a nod towards your actions in that North Node Piscean place with how you are in your soul alignment with intuition, psychic stuff, and expression and creativity, your action there, your communication there, and then your taskmaster, your practical aspect of it. All of these are weighing in just before the North Node leaves Pisces and begins to move into Aries. And then, of course, we've got the whole Venus conjuncting up with Saturn, while the North Node is conjuncting up with Saturn, while Mercury is conjuncting up with Saturn. These three things going on right here, especially at the top of the week, pretty big cruncher. This is going to move energy as well. So we move from this power moving stuff into this power moving stuff. And then we've got Venus sextiling Uranus. So surprises with your self-value and love relationship reviews, because last of Venus direct in those Piscean waters. So, like, God, there is a lot going on through all of this. So let me get over to my written notes here so you can kind of begin to see what I've written up here. Now, this is from last week. You all have seen this from last week. I'm not going to go over it again. I'll just let it sit here for a moment or two so you can do your screen shooting on it if you need to. That's the power stuff that wraps up this week that we were really feeling last week. And then we move into the week of April 7th and a twisted rock, and I leaned into that a little bit and got told surprising movement in earthly, grounded, fixed things. So we need to pay attention to this. Like, to me, this says people who normally wouldn't wake up, they may very well wake up. Or things that used to be stationary in a very earthly way, they may move around or transform, or something may happen. Then here are the highlights. The Mercury in Pisces trining Mars in Cancer. So this is all about action and communication with action on the home front, with your intuition and your emotive and your creativity and your expression. And then we've got the North Node in Pisces is trining Mars in Cancer, soul alignment and direction with intuition, creativity paired with action, especially on the home front. Then we've got North Node in Pisces conjuncting Mercury, Saturn, Venus. This is the really big one. A strong emphasis on emotional depth, intuition, and creative expression, but potential challenges in communication, relationships, and self-expression. I kind of feel like this has something to do with this. It may be moving some stuff around. And then we've got the Venus retrograde sextiling with Uranus, a time for exploring new and unconventional expressions of love, self-value, creativity, potentially leading to fresh perspectives. And then North Node in Pisces, sextiling Uranus and Taurus, so surprises and movement in creative soul alignments. You know, guys, this week right here, God, it has got a whole other layer or level of its own flavor of transformation in this week. Like, and the thing is like, it doesn't feel heady. It feels very grounded, rooted, earthy. Thus the whole twisted rock thing, and it all coming out in a potential silver lining, strong kind of way. So again, a really, really interesting week. And even though all of this is going on, I feel pretty darn good about this week. Like, I feel like this is the week where you could lean in with some leverage and really get some traction with transformation. It's very earthy, grounded, and it almost kind of has a satisfying feeling to it as well. So, and then Spirit Team is weighing in and saying, we're going to have, after this all moves through, we're going to have a little bit of breathing time, a little bit of catching up time to kind of catch our breath and catch ourselves before we head into the back end of the month. So I anticipate that the week after this one, even though we're still in the turmoil and the intensity of our country, there's like really good energy beginning to happen, especially with Mercury going direct and Venus going direct. That is all going to be very, very helpful for a little while. So that's what I've got for you this week. Make sure you catch me on the live tonight. And we are going to head into this week silver lining strong. Remember that, okay? So we're heading into this week silver lining strong. All right, so I will see you in the next video. Mwah.